Batman has always been a symbol of justice, an ever-watchful guardian of Gotham, tirelessly battling the criminal underworld that plagues his city. However, beneath the surface of Gotham's chaotic crime scene lies something far more sinister. The idea of a secret society operating in the shadows. Could it be that Batman, in his quest to rid Gotham of its criminals, is unknowingly fighting against a far greater threat? A powerful cabal of influential figures who pull the strings of the city's darkest dealings. The notion of a secret society, an elite group manipulating the fate of Gotham from behind closed doors, isn't just a theory, it's a potential shadow war that has always existed beneath the surface, one that Batman might not even fully understand. Gotham, with its wealth of corruption, crime, and darkness, is the perfect breeding ground for a hidden organization. Throughout Batman's career, he has encountered and battled countless criminals, from mob bosses like Carmine Falcone to supervillains such as the Joker, Two-Face, and Ra's al Ghul. But amidst these known enemies, there's always been an undercurrent of something more, something that goes beyond mere criminal organizations. A hidden society could exist, one that weaves together Gotham's power brokers and influential figures who control the city's future from the shadows. The concept of secret societies is not new to Gotham. In fact, Batman's encounters with certain figures in Gotham have hinted at the presence of an organization that is older, more powerful, and more dangerous than anyone could imagine. For instance, the Court of Owls, a secret society from Gotham's past, operates as a mysterious cabal that secretly controls the city's most influential individuals, using Talon assassins to eliminate their enemies and protect their secrets. The Court of Owls claims to have been operating for centuries, keeping Gotham in their grasp, even as its government, law enforcement, and public figures remained unaware of their true power. This shadowy group, with its connections to the city's founding families, exemplifies the very idea of a secret society operating at the highest levels, its motives and actions unknown to the public, and its influence unchecked. The existence of such a powerful society raises the question, could Batman's enemies be working together in a way he doesn't fully understand as Gotham's protector? Batman is used to facing a wide array of threats. However, the idea that there's a central force orchestrating the city's descent into chaos, manipulating events from behind the scenes, changes the nature of his fight. Could the Joker's madness be a part of a greater scheme, a calculated disruption of Gotham's order orchestrated by those who benefit from its instability? Is Ra's al Ghul's obsession with destroying Gotham actually part of a larger plot to reset the city's power structures? Could Falcone's crime empire be just a small piece of a much larger criminal network, controlled by an elite class that has been pulling the strings all along? The secret society theory suggests that the true enemies of Gotham are not just the visible criminals or the supervillains that Batman regularly fights. The real threat lies in the hands of a hidden elite, a group whose political and economic power far exceeds anything Batman has encountered. This cabal of influential individuals could be a mix of Gotham's wealthiest families, corporate moguls, high-ranking politicians, and even the city's law enforcement officers. All of them would be united by their shared interest in maintaining control over Gotham, keeping the city in a perpetual state of chaos while they profit from the instability. If such a society were to exist, it would explain many of the patterns Batman has noticed over the years. Why, for instance, does Gotham always seem to be in a perpetual state of decline, despite Batman's best efforts to bring order? Every time Batman strikes down one criminal faction, another seems to rise in its place. Corruption runs rampant throughout Gotham, with the Gotham City Police Department consistently being shown as ineffective or complicit in the criminal activities that plague the city. Perhaps it's not the individual criminals Batman is fighting, but a system of control that has existed for decades, maybe even centuries. This idea can be expanded further by looking at the global connections of Gotham's elite. If Batman's enemies are indeed part of a larger international cabal, one that operates behind the scenes, then the scope of Batman's fight would extend far beyond Gotham's borders. Gotham has always been a city of secrecy and mystery, and what if the Court of Owls, or another clandestine society, is merely a small part of a global network of secret organizations that seek to control the fate of entire nations or continents? If this is the case, then Batman is not just a local hero battling local criminals. He is a soldier in a much larger war, fighting against an organization that wields influence on a global scale. One of the most intriguing aspects of this theory is the idea that Batman's enemies, many of whom seem like they are working independently, might actually be coordinating their actions in a way that is beyond Batman's comprehension. The Joker, for example, is often depicted as an anarchist, someone who thrives on chaos. However, his schemes often seem to align with the larger goals of the criminal elite in Gotham. Is the Joker's madness part of a plan to disrupt Gotham's order for the benefit of those in power? Could his actions be directed by the hidden society, whose goal is to keep the city in a state of chaos while they profit from the suffering? Similarly, Ra's al Ghul, the leader of the League of Assassins, has often sought to destroy Gotham to reset the city's foundation. However, his ultimate goal has never been about just destroying Gotham. It has been about rebuilding it according to his own vision, a vision that includes a new world order. Could Ra's al Ghul's plan to purge Gotham be a ploy orchestrated by a higher power, one that seeks to reshape Gotham's power structures in a way that benefits their control over the city? If Ra's al Ghul is working for or with a secret society, his efforts to destroy Gotham could be seen as a way to weaken the city's institutions before rebuilding them in a way that aligns with the goals of this shadowy cabal. Another possibility is that the crime families in Gotham, Falcone, Maroni, and others, are not just independent criminals, but part of a larger global syndicate, one that has ties to a global criminal underworld. These families, though seemingly at odds with each other at times, may actually be working together toward a common goal. In this scenario, Batman's efforts to dismantle these families might be seen as futile because their influence extends far beyond Gotham, controlled by the secret society that is pulling the strings. This theory might explain the endless cycle of crime in Gotham. The criminal elite, backed by global forces, ensures that the city remains in a constant state of turmoil, providing them with a never-ending stream of power and profit. The secret society theory also ties into the idea that Gotham's corruption runs far deeper than anyone could imagine. The Gotham City Police Department, while often depicted as a beacon of justice, is regularly shown to be compromised by corruption. Could it be that the GCPD is not just a broken system but is actively controlled by the secret society to ensure that Batman's efforts to bring order to the city are always undermined? If the police force is part of the larger network of power, then Batman's battles with corrupt officers might be part of a much larger war to prevent the city from ever truly being free of its criminal influence. Batman, ever vigilant, continues his war on crime, but if the secret society is indeed real, his efforts could be nothing more than a distraction to keep him occupied, while the true power brokers in Gotham continue to manipulate the city's fate. The real battle may not be against the mobs or supervillains he faces on the streets, but against a shadowy cabal of elites who have kept Gotham in their grip for centuries. If Batman is fighting against a secret society, then his mission to bring justice to Gotham could be part of a larger cosmic struggle to uncover the truth and bring the hidden forces of Gotham to light. But to do so, Batman must not only face his familiar enemies, but uncover the secrets that lie at the heart of Gotham's darkest institutions. As we continue to delve into the concept of a secret society controlling Gotham from the shadows, it becomes clear that such an organization would not just be a passive presence. Instead, it would be an active and strategic force, one that has deliberately shaped the underworld and corruption of Gotham to its benefit. This secret society could have its tentacles in every major institution in Gotham: politics, law enforcement, business, and of course the criminal underworld. If this secret society exists, it is not just something Batman must face in terms of individual villains, but a network that has long controlled the city, pulling the strings on every level. One of the primary questions that arises when considering the existence of a secret society in Gotham is, who are the key members of this hidden group, and what is their ultimate goal? Gotham, like many cities in the DC universe, is largely shaped by its elites, and these elites are often those who are untouchable by conventional justice. When we think of Gotham's elite, we think of figures like Carmine Falcone, the head of one of the city's most powerful crime families, or Oswald Cobblepot, also known as the Penguin, who uses his wealth and influence to control Gotham's criminal operations. However, could these figures be puppets themselves, operating at the behest of an even greater, hidden force? Could Falcone, Cobblepot, or even other crime bosses like Sal Maroni be low-level members of a larger network? Their roles in the city could be part of an elaborate ruse designed to create the illusion that Gotham's criminal landscape is disorganized, when in reality, it is carefully orchestrated by a small group of powerful individuals. This society would likely involve people who are seen as respectable members of Gotham's elite, powerful corporate leaders, media moguls, bankers, and even politicians could all play a role. Figures like Bruce Wayne, the Wayne family, and Wayne Enterprises could potentially be unwittingly connected to this secret society, though Batman's deep understanding of Gotham's workings might hint at an unseen connection. The Wayne family, after all, has a long history in Gotham, and there are moments in Batman lore where the Wayne family's involvement in the city's dark past is explored. Could Wayne Enterprises be a front for a larger operation? The idea that Batman's very foundation, his family legacy, could be tied to a corrupt cabal is a chilling thought that could shake the very foundation of who Batman is and what he represents. The Court of Owls, a secret society that has been depicted in Gotham's history as controlling the city through manipulation, assassination, and covert influence, is perhaps the most obvious example of a shadowy cabal operating in Gotham. Its members, the powerful families of Gotham, control the city's politics and industries, and their influence stretches back to Gotham's founding. The court is capable of controlling everything, from the police department to the mayor's office, all while remaining completely hidden from the public eye. The Talon assassins, who do the bidding of the court, can take down anyone deemed a threat to the organization's power, acting as an invisible force that keeps Gotham's streets in check. If the Court of Owls exists, then Batman's battle is far greater than just fighting criminals. It's about unveiling an entire hidden order that has kept Gotham in its grip for centuries. However, there are other organizations within Gotham that may also be part of this hidden network, Groups like the League of Assassins, led by Ra's al Ghul, also seem to operate in ways that suggest a hidden agenda that extends beyond individual criminal acts. Ra's al Ghul's desire to destroy and rebuild Gotham could be part of a larger plot orchestrated by those who wish to reshape the political and social structure of the city. While Ra's al Ghul is often depicted as an external force, there are times when he's suggested to be part of Gotham's deep-seated corruption. His radical views on what needs to be done to purify cities like Gotham could align with the goals of a secret society that views the city's chaos as an opportunity to reshape it in their image. Could the Joker, often portrayed as a chaotic and unpredictable force in Gotham, be playing a role in the larger plan of the secret society? While the Joker's madness often seems to be a reactionary force, an agent of chaos whose motives seem random, what if his chaos is actually part of a calculated plan set in motion by these secret powers? The Joker's actions, while seemingly unconnected to any grand scheme, could be serving as a catalyst to further destabilize Gotham. In this sense, the Joker might not be a rogue agent, but a tool used by the secret society to keep Gotham in a constant state of unrest, providing the opportunity for their true plan to unfold in the shadows. Batman's fight against the secret society would not just be one of physical confrontation, but a battle for Gotham's soul. He has spent his entire life trying to bring order to a city that is deeply entrenched in corruption. But what if the source of that corruption is far more entrenched than he has ever suspected? If Gotham's elite families, the Waynes, Falcons, and others, are secretly part of a cabal that controls the flow of money, power, and justice, then Batman's role as Gotham's protector is more complex than he could ever have imagined. The society's influence would be so deep that it could shape public opinion, control the police, and influence the legal system, all while operating under the guise of legitimate power. At its core, Batman's crusade becomes one not just against crime, but against a system that has been engineered to maintain control over Gotham's population. The real enemy may not be the mob bosses, supervillains, or even the murderers Batman faces in the streets. It could be the people in the shadows, the ones who control Gotham from behind closed doors, manipulating the chaos for their own gain. And as Batman fights to bring justice to the streets, he is also fighting to uncover the truth, to shine a light on a corrupt system that has infiltrated every corner of Gotham society. This hidden secret society could also be responsible for the cycle of violence that Gotham faces. Every time Batman seems to defeat one criminal faction, another rises to take its place. The idea that this constant rotation of power is orchestrated by an unseen hand adds an additional layer to Batman's never-ending war on crime. If this society is sustaining the chaos, then Batman's victories are often nothing more than temporary setbacks in the grand plan of the hidden elite. The real battle may not lie in confronting Gotham's criminals, but in unveiling the true forces that perpetuate its suffering. Ultimately, Batman's struggle against this secret society is not only a battle for Gotham's future, but a personal journey that forces him to question everything he has fought for. What if the Gotham he seeks to save is not just a city, but a puppet of a greater shadow war? Can Batman truly bring justice to Gotham if the very systems of power he is trying to change are influenced by a secret society that controls it all? The challenge Batman faces is not just about defeating criminals, it's about unmasking the truth, taking down a force that operates in the darkest corners of Gotham, and ultimately freeing the city from the chains of manipulation that bind it. The existence of a secret society in Gotham, as suggested by the patterns Batman observes, presents a chilling and profound challenge to his crime-fighting efforts. Over the years, Batman has encountered numerous criminal organizations, from the Gotham mob families to rogue villains, all of whom are visible threats to the city. Yet, the suggestion that a secret society, an invisible hand, is orchestrating these criminal activities from the shadows completely reshapes the nature of Batman's battle. It means that his endless war against crime and corruption might be nothing more than a distraction, a symptom of a greater, deeper problem. The true power behind the crime in Gotham could be a hidden network of individuals and families who maintain their dominance through manipulation and control, rather than force and violence. Consider the Gotham elite, the wealthy businessmen, the politicians, and the law enforcement officers who hold the city's power. These are the people that everyone associates with legitimacy. But what if their public faces are only a mask for their true roles in a secret network that runs Gotham behind the scenes? Carmine Falcone, the infamous mob boss, appears to be one of the primary criminal influences in Gotham, but his actions could be part of something far larger. The fact that Falcone's criminal empire was allowed to grow unchecked might not simply be the result of his own ambition. It's possible that Falcone's power is tolerated, or even encouraged, by a shadowy cabal that seeks to maintain a certain order in Gotham. Oswald Cobblepot, or the Penguin, similarly, controls Gotham's underworld through both legitimate and criminal means. However, the Penguin is more than just a simple crime lord. He is a well-connected businessman with significant influence in the city's politics and economics. His power extends beyond just running smuggling rings or illegal gambling. He controls significant aspects of Gotham's infrastructure. This blending of legitimacy with criminality is a hallmark of how a secret society might operate. By controlling both the visible power structures and the underworld, this society could ensure that Gotham's true leaders are never exposed. The Penguin may simply be one of their agents, a pawn in a larger game designed to maintain Gotham's instability while keeping the real power hidden. The Gotham Police Department, too, seems to be a key player in this dynamic. For years, the GCPD has been depicted as a corrupt institution, riddled with officers who are either inept or complicit in the city's criminal enterprises. Could this widespread corruption be a consequence of the secret society's influence? What if the police force is not just underfunded or poorly managed, but instead is actively controlled by the same people who are orchestrating Gotham's chaos? The GCPD might not be entirely inept, rather it could be designed to fail, controlled by a secret force that prevents it from acting against Gotham's true rulers. This would explain why Batman's efforts often feel like battling against a tide. Every time he tries to cleanse the city of crime, another criminal faction emerges, often with the help of law enforcement itself. In such a scenario, the corruption of Gotham would not be a simple byproduct of the city's socio-economic inequalities or broken systems of justice. It would be a deliberate and calculated effort. The wealthy families of Gotham, those that have been in power for generations, would have access to the resources needed to maintain control, from political influence to financial power, and even the use of violence through criminal syndicates. But more importantly, these families would interact with one another in secret, forming an elite class that ensures that the city remains in a perpetual state of disarray, while they profit from its chaos. The families that control Gotham's wealth, much like the Waynes and Falcons, could be seen as both protectors and predators, providing the city with the illusion of order while secretly feeding off its suffering. The Court of Owls is a perfect representation of how this secret society could operate. With its centuries-old history and its hidden influence over Gotham's political and criminal elites, the court has the ability to manipulate the city's events without ever being noticed. They have infiltrated Gotham's most respected families, and their control extends into the police force, the business world, and the highest levels of government. Their talent assassins, who act as the court's enforcers, are used to eliminate those who threaten the society's secrecy and control, ensuring that no one ever learns the true power structure of the city. What is most chilling about the Court of Owls is how it operates in the background, appearing only when necessary, but always pulling the strings behind the scenes. What if the Court of Owls is just one branch of a much larger and more powerful organization? This society may not just control Gotham, but it could be part of a global network of secret organizations all working together to control the fate of cities and nations across the world. The League of Assassins, led by Ra's al Ghul, might also be part of this broader network, working to influence global politics while using Gotham as a key city to reshape the world's power dynamics. Raz's desire to destroy Gotham might not be about just cleansing the city, but about remaking it into a new world order, one where the secret society has even more control over the city's destiny. This shadow war between secret societies and the forces of good, like Batman, raises several questions about the nature of justice in Gotham. Is Batman's fight against criminals truly a fight for justice, or is he simply another pawn in a much larger game? The criminals Batman faces every night may not be the real problem. They might just be tools used by those who wish to maintain their control over the city. The true enemy may not be a single mob boss or villain, but rather an entire network of power that keeps Gotham in a state of constant turmoil. Batman's war might be against the system itself, not just against its individual representatives. In this context, Batman's enemies, the Joker, Two-Face, Ra's al Ghul, Falcone, Penguin, and others, may not be entirely independent agents. They might be agents of a larger force that is shaping Gotham's future in a way that benefits the secret society that controls it. The Joker's madness, for instance, might not be purely random. Could he be an agent of chaos, created and manipulated by the secret society to destroy Gotham's sense of order and keep it in a state of chaos, thus allowing the elite to continue profiting from its instability? His relationship with Batman would then be seen as a calculated one, a chaotic battle that ensures the city remains divided and the secret society's control remains unchallenged. The presence of a secret society in Gotham would also explain why Batman often seems to be at the center of Gotham's chaos, despite his best efforts to cleanse the city. It's not just that he faces criminals. It's that these criminals are products of a system that exists to keep him in a constant state of conflict, forcing him to fight battles that he may never fully win. His role as a protector of Gotham might be a necessary illusion, designed to keep him distracted from the real enemy, the secret society that controls everything from the shadows. The more Batman uncovers about Gotham's underworld, the more he realizes that he is not just fighting criminals. He is fighting a much larger and deeper power that operates with insidious intelligence. As we continue to peel back the layers of Gotham's hidden power structure, it becomes clear that the concept of a secret society controlling the city is not only plausible, but it also brings forth the hidden intricacies of Gotham's past. Every encounter Batman has with the criminal factions, politicians, and business magnates points to something far more sinister at work behind the scenes. A much deeper conspiracy that manipulates Gotham's future and the destiny of its people. Gotham's historical roots are riddled with secrets, many of which tie directly into the idea of a cabal that has shaped the city's destiny for centuries. Gotham is known for being a city built on corruption, and the founding families who established it often have their stories intertwined with mysterious events and inexplicable occurrences. It's possible that these families are more than just the heads of corporations and crime empires. They could be part of a larger organization, one that has shaped the city's destiny since its inception. These families are likely to be the architects of the present chaos, creating an environment that allows them to maintain power while Gotham continues to burn. In this light, the Court of Owls becomes a symbol of the long-standing elite who have controlled the city's fate from the very beginning. The court operates from the shadows, pulling the strings on Gotham's power dynamics, ensuring that the rich stay rich and the poor remain in their place. The Owls are an extension of Gotham's original power brokers, serving as the keepers of Gotham's true history and guardians of its future. Batman's attempts to uncover the court show the lengths he must go to in order to unveil the truth. Each step forward reveals another layer of the city's foundation, as well as the society's deeper control over Gotham's destiny. The court's influence stretches far beyond simple criminal activities. They direct the flow of Gotham's wealth, control its political landscape, and manipulate its law enforcement system. In this way, the Court of Owls embodies the secret society that is believed to be pulling the strings in Gotham. But what if they are not the only ones? The existence of the court could simply be a facade for a much larger network, one that includes other global actors operating behind the scenes. If the court can control Gotham's future, what is their endgame? Are they working toward the ultimate destruction of Gotham to remake it in their own image, or do they have plans for the world beyond Gotham's borders? Could their control over Gotham be just a small piece of a larger scheme? The connections between Gotham's elite families and crime syndicates suggest a deliberate plan to keep the city in a constant state of chaos, one that makes it easier for these families to control everything. These elite families have the resources to create new laws, manipulate public opinion, and maintain their influence across multiple sectors of society. But their power is not just based on money or influence. These families likely have deep connections to occult practices, mysterious organizations, and possibly even alien influences that have been embedded into Gotham's dark history. This would explain why Gotham remains in a constant state of turmoil, with criminals and supervillains rising to power only to be taken down by Batman, while the true powers behind Gotham's chaos remain hidden. Ra's al Ghul and his League of Assassins provide an interesting layer to this theory. Though his motivation seems to be focused on resetting civilization through global destruction, it's possible that Ra's and his League are more deeply intertwined with Gotham's hidden elite than we've previously thought. Ra's al Ghul's relationship with the Wayne family, through the League's early connections with Gotham, suggests that Gotham's true origins are linked to ancient forces, some of which may have had dealings with alien races or even interdimensional beings. If Ra's al Ghul is trying to destroy Gotham, could he be working with other members of this shadowy society to eliminate Gotham as the last bastion of resistance to their plans? Or is he part of a larger puzzle, one where the ultimate goal is to rebuild the world with Gotham at its center? The Penguin, too, plays a key role in this web of deception. Although Oswald Cobblepot is often portrayed as a power-hungry crime lord, his wealth and connections to Gotham's elite have always seemed more than just coincidental. Cobblepot's dual nature, balancing legitimate business with his criminal activities, may place him in the perfect position to serve the hidden goals of the secret society. The Penguin's role in Gotham is not just about running the underworld, it's about ensuring that Gotham's real power remains in the hands of the elite, and that those who threaten the status quo are eliminated. The Penguin's criminal empire could be the front for a larger conspiracy, one that uses his criminal influence to manipulate the city's most important figures and ensure that no one ever truly rises to challenge the true masters of Gotham. Another significant player in the city's power structure is Two-Face, whose tragic transformation from Harvey Dent to a criminal mastermind might symbolize Gotham's perpetual battle between order and chaos. What if Two-Face's duality is not just a personal curse, but a reflection of the battle between the two sides of Gotham's hidden rulers? One side may be seeking chaos, attempting to break the city apart and create disorder for their own purposes, while the other side works to maintain control, ensuring that Gotham's underdog citizens never gain true agency. This constant struggle for control could be the underlying force shaping the dynamics of Gotham's crime, and Batman might be merely one small part of this larger war. As Batman navigates through Gotham's streets, the idea that he might be fighting a secret society rather than a collection of disparate criminals radically changes his mission. He is no longer just a vigilante taking on the scum of Gotham, but a guardian fighting against an invisible enemy that has shaped the very fabric of the city. His efforts to bring justice to Gotham may be in vain if the true power brokers remain hidden in the shadows, pulling the strings of every major event. The criminals Batman fights may be nothing more than pawns in a much larger game, a game in which the real enemy is far more dangerous, more intelligent, and more powerful than anything Batman has ever faced. The idea of a secret society in Gotham calls into question Batman's role in the city. His purpose has always been to serve justice, but if the city's elite are controlling its destiny, is he really fighting the right battle, or is he simply feeding into their agenda, keeping Gotham in a state of perpetual conflict? The secrets of Gotham are more complex than any single villain or criminal empire could represent. They go deep into the city's origins, its elite families, and the hidden forces that pull the strings from the shadows. Batman's role as Gotham's protector may be more than just fighting criminals. It could be about unmasking the secret society, exposing the true power behind Gotham's corruption, and ultimately freeing the city from the manipulative grip that has kept it in chaos for generations. The secret society in Gotham not only impacts the city's surface-level crime, but influences the entire structure of its institutions and societal order. Every criminal, from Gotham's most notorious gangsters to its supervillains, could be just a piece in a much larger puzzle. A puzzle that Batman is attempting to solve without knowing the full picture. What makes this situation even more chilling is the idea that Batman's success in ridding the city of one criminal organization might only lead to the rise of another, each appearing to be an independent threat, while in reality, they are part of a larger agenda that Batman has yet to uncover. For years, Batman has been working under the assumption that his greatest enemies are the rogue criminals and power-hungry crime lords who plague Gotham. Figures like Carmine Falcone, Oswald Cobblepot, and Sal Maroni each seem to embody the traditional notion of criminal enterprise. Yet, with each defeat, Batman watches as another emerges, continuing to stir chaos in Gotham. This cycle raises an important question. What if these criminals aren't working independently at all? What if they're all part of something bigger? The mysterious nature of Gotham's criminal operations suggests that there is more at work than meets the eye. In many of Batman's encounters with his enemies, he discovers that his adversaries often have deeper connections to the city's elite. This is evident with characters like Falcone, whose crime syndicate operates openly within Gotham, but who also has connections with Gotham's higher-ups, politicians, business moguls, and even law enforcement officials. These affiliations indicate that Gotham's underworld isn't as chaotic as it appears. It's organized, And behind this organization stands the shadowy figures pulling the strings from the darkness. These figures, possibly linked to an ancient and secret society, maintain their hold on Gotham by manipulating every facet of life in the city. When we look at Gotham's political scene, it's clear that it too is mired in secrecy and hidden influences. Figures like Mayor Hill, or later Oswald Cobblepot in his guise as the mayor, wield enormous power, but their real loyalties may not lie with Gotham's citizens. They are likely part of a larger machination, working to shape the city's policies and enforce control on behalf of this shadowy society. Their rise to power isn't the result of merit alone, but part of a greater scheme to keep Gotham's elite in control, ensuring that the criminal underworld operates with the approval and support of those in charge. In this context, Batman's mission becomes something far more complex than simply eliminating the criminal elements of Gotham. If Gotham is in fact controlled by a secret society, the criminal enterprises Batman faces are not mere opportunistic criminals. They are agents of this shadowy organization, serving to maintain chaos while the true rulers remain hidden. These elites use the criminal organizations as a way to control the masses, keeping them distracted and divided while they secure their own power. Batman's inability to fully rid the city of crime could then be viewed as a deliberate design, not just the result of criminal ambition but the systemic control imposed by a hidden network of Gotham's wealthiest and most influential families. This secret society works to ensure that the status quo remains intact. They thrive on Gotham's instability, profiting from the chaos, while their hidden hand remains the real force behind the scenes. Let's take a look at Ra's al Ghul, a character who has consistently challenged Batman's view of Gotham and the world. While he is often seen as a terrorist leader, seeking to purge the world of its corruption, his goals are far more nuanced than simple destruction. Ra's al Ghul believes that Gotham, as the center of global corruption, needs to be reset. But what if his ultimate goal is not just to destroy the city, but to remake it in the image of a new world order? Ra's al Ghul could be part of a much larger conspiracy, one that seeks to destroy Gotham's institutions to pave the way for a new society, one in which the elite have absolute control over the planet. This larger-scale ambition is perhaps the true motivation behind his long-standing conflict with Batman, as he works to tear down the existing power structures that keep Gotham and the world in place. Ra's al Ghul's association with the League of Assassins is also a key element in understanding the scope of this larger conspiracy. The League's influence extends well beyond Gotham, with Ra's al Ghul having a hand in the affairs of nations, corporations, and global powers. While Batman fights on the streets, Ra's al Ghul's plans are being carried out on a much larger scale. Could his desire to reshape Gotham be a part of a much more intricate plot, one where the destruction of the city is just a piece of the puzzle in the effort to control global power? Even the Joker, often seen as Batman's greatest adversary, could be an agent of this secret society, intentionally driving Gotham into a state of chaos to maintain the elite's control. The Joker's philosophy of chaos is not simply about creating havoc for its own sake, but about disrupting order, a vital part of maintaining Gotham's perpetual state of instability. His random violence, often targeting both criminals and civilians, could be the society's tool for ensuring that Gotham's criminals never align in a way that could threaten the elite's power. Batman's battles with the Joker are not just battles between a hero and villain, but a microcosm of the larger conflict between chaos and control. The very nature of Batman's relationship with Gotham's law enforcement also speaks to the idea that the police may be part of this larger conspiracy. Commissioner Gordon, though a staunch ally of Batman, has always been at odds with the criminals who seem to always have a foothold in the department. The GCPD itself is often portrayed as a broken system, riddled with corruption and inefficiency. But could this corruption be a deliberate tactic? If the police department is controlled or influenced by the secret society, it would explain why certain figures within the GCPD continue to be compromised, why certain criminal investigations seem to always lead to dead ends, and why Batman's efforts to maintain order often feel futile. The hidden powers pulling the strings of Gotham could be keeping the police force weak, ensuring that their control remains unshaken. The power that these families, organizations, and individuals hold in Gotham is not just about wealth. It's about control over the very fabric of the city. This secret society, if it exists, isn't just a group of criminals. It is a carefully orchestrated system of influence that ensures the status quo remains intact. The constant influx of criminals Batman faces is just one piece of this manipulative game. The city is kept in chaos, allowing those in the shadows to profit from its instability. Batman's realization that Gotham is being controlled by a secret society would force him to question everything he's fought for. Is he truly fighting the right battle, or is he simply being used as a pawn in a much larger game? His struggle to maintain justice could be just one aspect of a far more complex fight for Gotham's soul, a fight against a system that has existed for centuries, shaping the city in its image. What if, in fighting against the criminal elements of Gotham, Batman is actually feeding into the very chaos the society wants him to fight? The battle against the secret society becomes not just a battle of justice, but a battle for truth, to unearth the hidden forces that have kept Gotham in the dark for so long. As we delve deeper into the nature of this secret society controlling Gotham, it's important to consider how such an organization operates from a more strategic perspective. The members of this shadowy cabal don't simply rely on brute force to maintain control. Rather, they manipulate the very systems that are supposed to keep the city safe and just. Their reach extends to every corner of Gotham, from the corporate boardrooms and political offices to the dark alleys where criminals operate. Batman's continuous battle against crime is not merely a result of the failures of Gotham's institutions, but is likely the product of a larger conspiracy that has engineered Gotham's current state. Consider the financial power that this secret society would wield. Gotham's wealthiest families, such as the Waynes, Falcons, and Cobblepots, may present themselves as philanthropists or legitimate business leaders, but behind their polished facades, they could be acting as silent players in this greater game. The Wayne Foundation, for example, often depicted as a beacon of hope and progress, could be a front for more insidious activities. What if the Wayne family's wealth and influence were intertwined with Gotham's elite, and their philanthropic efforts were part of a larger strategy to infiltrate and control the city's power structures? The fact that Bruce Wayne spends his nights as Batman, battling crime while maintaining his image as a billionaire playboy, could be part of the illusion that the Wayne family wants to project a figurehead of Gotham's success, all while secretly operating behind the scenes to ensure that Gotham remains in the hands of those who have been there for generations. Gotham's financial systems, especially the influence of these powerful families, would also allow the secret society to control the city's economy. They could use their wealth to fund criminal operations, bribe officials, and ensure that certain industries remain under their control. Gotham's banks and corporations could serve as a mechanism to funnel money into the pockets of those in the secret society, ensuring that they remain untouchable. Through carefully crafted investments, lobbying, and legal manipulation, these families would secure their power, keeping their control over the city's financial systems while maintaining the illusion of chaos in the streets. The more Gotham is in a state of disarray, the more these families can profit from the instability, investing in businesses that thrive under corruption and crime. But it's not just the financial power that allows this secret society to remain in control. It's the social networks they build, which are often more difficult to uncover. These families don't only wield power in business and politics, they also shape public opinion and cultural norms. Gotham's media, controlled by a select few, can either perpetuate the illusion of crime or gloss over the true nature of the city's dark undercurrents. The media's portrayal of crime can be used to distract the public, focusing on petty criminals and supervillains, all while the elite operate unchallenged behind the scenes. The public's perception of Gotham is shaped by the stories they are told, and these stories often obscure the true influence of the secret society. Batman, in his efforts to fight crime, is up against not just individual criminals, but a manipulated reality that keeps the public from realizing the depth of corruption within their own city. The political landscape of Gotham is also deeply intertwined with this secret network. Politicians, much like the police force, may appear to be working for the good of Gotham, but in reality, they are mere puppets in the hands of the secret society. These political figures can use their influence to pass laws, manage public opinion, and control the flow of power, all in favor of the elite who hold the true influence. Through backroom deals and lobbying efforts, they ensure that the right people stay in power, further cementing their grip on the city's future. Gotham's mayors, senators, and judges could all be part of this hidden organization, controlling the city's fate without ever facing the consequences of their actions. The criminal enterprises that Batman battles on a regular basis are also part of this greater scheme. While Batman has always fought against the likes of Falcone, Cobblepot, and Maroni, the real power lies not in the crime families themselves, but in how these families are controlled by the secret society. These figures are likely nothing more than enforcers of a much larger agenda, an agenda that uses crime to sustain chaos while the elite benefit from the disorder. By keeping the criminals in check, the elite ensure that Gotham remains in a constant state of flux, with Batman fighting an endless war against the symptoms of a much larger issue. Batman's position as Gotham's protector makes him an important figure in this larger power struggle, but it also means he is blind to the true enemy. By focusing on individual criminals and supervillains, he often overlooks the hidden forces that are behind the city's most profound challenges. His efforts to cleanse Gotham of its criminals might be noble, but the cycle will always repeat unless he confronts the true source of Gotham's corruption, the secret society that controls the city from the shadows. This elite group, which has shaped Gotham's history and culture, is the true enemy Batman must face if he is to free the city from its dark future. As Batman continues his crusade to protect Gotham, his confrontation with its criminal underworld becomes more complicated. On the surface, the criminal factions that Batman faces are seen as independent entities vying for control of the city. But if we examine the deeper intricacies of Gotham's power structure, it becomes apparent that these seemingly disparate factions may all be pawns in a much larger game. The presence of a secret society orchestrating the chaos from the shadows is not just a theory, it could be the very force that fuels the unending conflict in Gotham. The real challenge for Batman is not only defeating criminals and supervillains, but uncovering the hidden hand that has manipulated Gotham's destiny for centuries. The secret society likely operates on a global scale with ties to influential families, corporate moguls, and political elites across the world. Gotham is merely a microcosm of a larger network of power brokers who control key cities, nations, and industries, shaping the global order from behind the scenes. While Gotham's political power may seem entrenched in its local elites, their influence extends well beyond the city limits, suggesting that the power struggle in Gotham is part of a broader geopolitical game. Batman's constant battle against local criminals could be just one piece of this grand scheme, with the shadowy society manipulating Gotham's criminal underworld for their own purposes. Take, for example, the relationship between Gotham's elite and its international connections. Gotham is a city teeming with trade, business ventures, and financial power, and these elite families likely have global interests. It's possible that Gotham's most influential families are in cahoots with global power players, ensuring that the city remains a hub of corruption, a safe haven for the world's wealthiest and most dangerous individuals. Through their influence, they can control Gotham's markets, keep criminal operations running smoothly, and maintain the status quo, all while pretending to be legitimate business figures. The appearance of Gotham as a city in perpetual chaos allows these elites to continue amassing power and wealth in the shadows without facing any real scrutiny. Batman's struggle to eliminate crime in Gotham often feels futile, as if no matter how many villains he defeats or how many criminal empires he dismantles, new threats continue to emerge. This pattern of endless conflict is a hallmark of the way the secret society operates. They orchestrate the chaos, using it to their advantage, ensuring that the city remains in a perpetual state of imbalance. While the criminals Batman faces are the public face of Gotham's problems, they are merely acting out the will of the secret society, which benefits from the instability they create. The society keeps the city's power structure in a state of constant flux, ensuring that no one ever has enough influence to challenge their authority. The police force in Gotham also plays a pivotal role in maintaining the illusion of order while secretly upholding the status quo. Batman has long been at odds with the Gotham City Police Department, with many officers either too corrupt to take action or too incompetent to stop the rising tide of crime. Could this failure of the GCPD be more than just institutional incompetence? What if the GCPD is actively complicit in the society's agenda? If the secret society controls the city's political and economic structures, it would be easy to see how they could also maintain control over the GCPD, using its leadership to maintain public order in ways that benefit their objectives. Gotham's law enforcement might not be as corrupt as it seems. It could be a well-oiled machine designed to keep Gotham in a state of controlled chaos. The criminal factions that Batman faces, like Falcone's mob, Penguin's operations, and Maroni's syndicate, could be seen as tools of a larger agenda. These groups don't act independently of one another. While they may appear to be in direct competition for control of the city, they could all be working toward the same goal, one that ultimately serves the secret society's purpose: to maintain power and control over Gotham without ever being detected. This system ensures that the elite families and the criminal organizations operate in tandem, each benefiting from the other's existence. The criminal organizations create chaos, which the elite families can then use as a pretext to consolidate power, thus deepening their control over Gotham. One of the most important aspects of this conspiracy is the secrecy with which it operates. The Court of Owls, the most well-known secret society in Gotham, is an excellent example of how a shadow organization can thrive under the radar, influencing Gotham's fate without ever being seen. The court's influence is so deeply embedded in the city's founding families and institutions that even Batman, with all his resources and intelligence, struggles to uncover its true nature. The court's manipulation of Gotham's leaders, from politicians to police officers, ensures that the city remains trapped in their grip, never breaking free from the cycle of corruption. This level of control requires a delicate balance of power, And the court is the perfect example of how a secret society can operate in the background, allowing the elite families to maintain control while keeping their hands clean. The presence of the court is just the tip of the iceberg. If Gotham's elite families are connected to a larger global conspiracy, then the secret society operates on a far-reaching scale that extends beyond Gotham's borders. Ra's al Ghul, the leader of the League of Assassins, represents a global faction that seeks to reshape society on a global scale. Ra's ultimate goal is to destroy Gotham to rebuild it as part of his new world order. His influence is not just felt in Gotham, but throughout the world as his league carries out covert operations in various countries, manipulating political regimes and corporate structures. Ra's al Ghul could very well be working with the secret society in Gotham, manipulating the city's future to create chaos and open the door for a new order. If Gotham's future is truly being shaped by a global secret society, then Batman's fight against crime takes on an entirely new dimension. It is no longer about individual villains or criminal empires, but about exposing the hidden powers that have been manipulating Gotham for centuries. The Joker's role, too, becomes clearer in this context. While he is often portrayed as an agent of chaos, he may actually be a tool used by the secret society to destabilize Gotham. His random violence, psychological manipulation, and ability to sow discord are exactly what the hidden elite need to keep Gotham in a state of unpredictable chaos. The Joker's madness could be the catalyst for keeping Gotham in perpetual unrest, preventing Batman from ever fully defeating the criminal element, and instead forcing him into an endless cycle of conflict. As Batman's understanding of the situation deepens, he begins to realize that his battle against Gotham's criminals is merely a symptom of a much larger and far more insidious force that has been pulling the strings in the city for centuries. The secret society, hidden in the shadows of Gotham's elite families, its political structure and its financial systems, is not only orchestrating criminal activities, but also shaping Gotham's fate in ways that Batman has yet to fully comprehend. The existence of such a powerful cabal suggests that the conflict Batman faces isn't just about fighting villains or dealing with crime. It is about unveiling a vast network of manipulation where every decision, every action, and every move has been carefully planned to ensure that the elite maintain their control over the city and its people. These families, perhaps some of Gotham's most respected names, might present themselves as pillars of the community, but in truth, they could be shadow puppeteers who control every aspect of the city's politics, economy, and justice system. If Batman were to discover the true extent of this secret society's reach, it could shatter his entire perception of Gotham, forcing him to question not just his mission, but also his identity as a hero. Has he been fighting against the right enemies? Or has he been playing into the hands of a greater force that has kept Gotham in its grip for generations? Could Batman himself have been unwittingly manipulated by these shadowy figures who have used Gotham's crime as a distraction to keep him focused on the wrong battle? These questions would challenge his faith in justice and his mission to save Gotham, throwing into question whether Gotham itself can ever truly be saved. The Court of Owls, as one of the most notorious secret societies within Gotham, serves as a model for how such a network can operate undetected. This ancient organization, whose members are drawn from Gotham's most powerful families, has been manipulating the city for centuries, ensuring that the city's true power structures remain hidden from public view. The court's ability to maintain control over Gotham's financial, political, and criminal systems is not just about wealth or influence, but about their ability to remain unseen, acting in the background and pulling the strings that dictate the city's fate. The Talon Assassins, whose task is to silence those who threaten the court, are a perfect example of how the court's power is not just physical, but also psychological. They ensure that the elite remain unchallenged, eliminating anyone who might dare to disrupt the status quo. In many ways, Batman's battle against the court becomes a battle for Gotham's soul, as he uncovers the layers of power that have been concealed for generations. Every time Batman defeats a criminal syndicate or a supervillain, he realizes that there is a deeper force at work. Falcone, Penguin, and other crime lords are cogs in a much larger machine, each playing a role in maintaining the chaos that allows the true rulers to stay in power. These criminals are not merely opportunists, but agents of a system that perpetuates the cycle of destruction while keeping the true power brokers hidden. The Joker, with his chaotic approach to crime, might not be just a madman, but a willing pawn in a much larger plot, acting as a distraction while the real masterminds behind the scenes continue to control Gotham's future. But if the Court of Owls is just one faction within a larger network of power, then Batman faces an even more daunting challenge. The secret society controlling Gotham may be a global entity, one that operates across nations, continents, and industries. This organization would have access to resources that Batman, with all his wealth and intelligence, could never hope to match. Their reach would extend beyond Gotham, touching the world's financial markets, political systems, and even international criminal enterprises. This is a cabal that does not just act within the confines of Gotham's borders, but controls the very systems of the world. Batman, in his quest to save Gotham, would be up against forces that operate on a global scale, capable of undermining or overthrowing entire governments, shaping the future of entire nations to suit their agenda. The deeper Batman digs into this web of conspiracy, the more he begins to understand that the real enemy isn't just the criminals on the streets or the supervillains who threaten the city. It is the shadowy figures who have controlled Gotham from its foundation, shaping its future to fit their vision of global dominance. They have used Gotham as a proving ground, testing their ability to control cities, nations, and world events. For them, Gotham is not just a city to be ruled, it is a test case, a microcosm for their larger goals. The criminal enterprises that Batman faces are tools in their larger game, allowing them to stir the pot and keep Gotham in a state of flux, all while they remain in control of the larger chessboard. This realization would come as a shock to Batman, who has always prided himself on understanding the criminal elements of Gotham. His mission to fight crime has always been rooted in the idea that Gotham's problems are caused by bad people making bad decisions. But now, he must confront the idea that the true enemy is not just a collection of individual criminals, but a system that has been built to perpetuate chaos and manipulate Gotham for the benefit of the few. This system is so deeply entrenched in the fabric of the city that even Batman's efforts to reform the police, cleanse the streets, and defeat crime bosses may be ultimately inconsequential if the Shadow Society continues to hold real power behind the scenes. At this point, Batman's understanding of Gotham's true nature becomes a double-edged sword. On the one hand, he now knows the real battle he must fight, one that will require more than just brute force or intelligence. It will require him to uncover the layers of corruption, bring the hidden powers to the surface, and break the chains that have kept Gotham in eternal darkness. On the other hand, the knowledge of the secret society's power might seem like a hopeless task, a battle against forces that are so deeply entrenched that they cannot be defeated through traditional means. The secret society has created a system that fuels Gotham's chaos, and unless Batman can uncover their true motives, the cycle will never end. As Batman continues to uncover the deep-rooted corruption and manipulation at play in Gotham, he must wrestle with the immensity of the forces arrayed against him. The secret society controlling the city operates in such a way that every attempt to dismantle it seems to lead to even greater complications. Each time Batman takes down a criminal organization, the very nature of the society's operations ensures that a new faction quickly fills the power vacuum. It's as if Gotham's entire system of crime is designed to constantly regenerate itself, perpetuating a cycle of chaos and control that has lasted for generations. This realization forces Batman to confront the notion that the society is not just a passive observer of Gotham's chaos, but an active orchestrator of it, ensuring that no real reform or change is ever possible. One key aspect of the secret society's power is its ability to adapt to Batman's efforts. Every time he takes out a crime boss or dismantles a syndicate, it feels as though these actions are just temporary setbacks rather than decisive victories. The Shadow Society seems to have built Gotham's entire power structure on control through chaos. Batman's fight against crime becomes a kind of perpetual battle where each victory is quickly undone by the rising tide of corruption from the top down. Batman's victories do not have the lasting impact he might expect because the true power brokers are never fully exposed. They are too well hidden, too entrenched in Gotham's institutions, and too far-reaching in their global network. The idea that Batman's battles with individual criminals are nothing more than games being played by the true architects of Gotham's turmoil starts to reshape Batman's worldview. The Joker, the Penguin, Ra's al Ghul, and even the Riddler, all of them could be working together, either directly or indirectly, in service to the secret society's ultimate goals. While they might have their own individual motivations and personal agendas, their actions always seem to serve the greater scheme of the society's interests. The Joker's madness, for instance, could be framed not as random anarchy but as a controlled force used to destabilize Gotham even further, to keep the public divided, and to maintain a constant state of fear that keeps the city's elite in control. The Penguin's criminal empire, on the other hand, could be seen as controlled opposition, one that keeps Gotham's lower classes in check by offering them criminal outlets while ensuring that they remain subjugated. His legitimate businesses serve to launder money for the true power players in Gotham, allowing them to maintain a public face while profiting from the chaos they help create. In this way, the Penguin's role is not just to commit crimes, but to mask the true scope of Gotham's power dynamics by making crime itself seem like the problem. The secret society could use Penguin's criminal activities as a tool to manipulate the public's perception, allowing them to stay out of the spotlight while benefiting from the very criminal activity they sponsor. Ra's al Ghul, the leader of the League of Assassins, takes a more global approach to this conspiracy. His desire to destroy Gotham isn't about destroying it for the sake of chaos. It's about remaking the city according to his vision, a vision that aligns with the secret society's ultimate agenda. Ra's al Ghul's influence spans across borders, making him a dangerous player not just in Gotham's power struggle, but in the global political system. His intention to purge Gotham and rebuild it speaks to a larger desire to control the world's destinies, one where the elite hold the true power, and where cities like Gotham are nothing more than battlegrounds in the war for global supremacy. By trying to reset Gotham, Ra's al Ghul is playing into the hands of the secret society, which aims to reshape the world by destroying its centers of power and rebuilding them in their image. At this stage in Batman's journey, the scope of the conflict grows exponentially. Gotham's battle is no longer a localized war against crime and corruption, but a battle for the soul of the city, one that reaches far beyond Gotham's borders. Batman realizes that his personal war might have been only part of a much larger puzzle. Gotham's system of crime and chaos isn't just a failure of law enforcement or a symptom of social inequality. It's the result of a deliberate system designed to keep the people in check while the true rulers manipulate the course of the city's fate. The criminal factions in Gotham have always been fueled by the same power, a hidden network of families, corporations, and political entities that have maintained their grip over the city for generations. Batman's real enemy, as it turns out, is not the individual criminals he faces in every encounter. It's the network of control that has engineered Gotham's system of chaos. This network is a well-oiled machine that ensures Gotham never truly escapes its cycle of destruction, corruption, and subjugation. Batman's success in dismantling one criminal empire is always met with the rise of another, and the system appears rigged to keep the criminals at the forefront of the city's struggle. But the true power behind these empires is not the criminals themselves, it's the society that controls them. This realization forces Batman to reevaluate his approach. For years, he has been focused on fighting crime and bringing criminals to justice, believing that by eliminating Gotham's criminal elements, he could save the city. But now, he must confront the reality that the real enemy is not the criminal or the supervillain, but the elite rulers who have manipulated the entire system. Gotham's true power structure is not just about the crime families or the politicians. It's about the hidden forces that shape public perception and create the circumstances in which the city's destruction is inevitable. The elite families and shadowy figures in Gotham have created the chaos, and as long as Batman continues to focus on the criminals without seeing the bigger picture, he will always be a step behind. To truly save Gotham, Batman will need to unmask the real enemy, the secret society that controls the city's fate. He will have to infiltrate the elite and tear down the walls that protect the true rulers of Gotham. This will not be an easy task, as the society's influence runs deep through the police force, the media, the financial systems, and even the criminal world. But if Batman can uncover the truth, if he can shine a light on the secret society pulling the strings, he might just have the chance to break the cycle that has kept Gotham in darkness for so long. This battle will be different from anything Batman has faced before. It's not just about physical combat. It's about exposing the system and uncovering the conspiracy that has kept Gotham locked in a state of endless turmoil. Batman's greatest strength has always been his intellect, his ability to outsmart and outmaneuver his enemies. Now more than ever, he must use that intelligence to unveil the truth behind the hidden forces shaping the city's destiny. As Batman continues to uncover the deep-rooted corruption and manipulation at play in Gotham, he must wrestle with the immensity of the forces arrayed against him. The secret society controlling the city operates in such a way that every attempt to dismantle it seems to lead to even greater complications. Each time Batman takes down a criminal organization, the very nature of the society's operations ensures that a new faction quickly fills the power vacuum. It's as if Gotham's entire system of crime is designed to constantly regenerate itself, perpetuating a cycle of chaos and control that has lasted for generations. This realization forces Batman to confront the notion that the society is not just a passive observer of Gotham's chaos, but an active orchestrator of it, ensuring that no real reform or change is ever possible. One key aspect of the secret society's power is its ability to adapt to Batman's efforts. Every time he takes out a crime boss or dismantles a syndicate, it feels as though these actions are just temporary setbacks rather than decisive victories. The Shadow Society seems to have built Gotham's entire power structure on control through chaos. Batman's fight against crime becomes a kind of perpetual battle, where each victory is quickly undone by the rising tide of corruption from the top down. Batman's victories do not have the lasting impact he might expect because the true power brokers are never fully exposed. They are too well hidden, too entrenched in Gotham's institutions, and too far-reaching in their global network. The idea that Batman's battles with individual criminals are nothing more than games being played by the true architects of Gotham's turmoil starts to reshape Batman's worldview. The Joker, the Penguin, Ra's al Ghul, and even the Riddler, all of them could be working together, either directly or indirectly, in service to the secret society's ultimate goals. While they might have their own individual motivations and personal agendas, their actions always seem to serve the greater scheme of the society's interests. The Joker's madness, for instance, could be framed not as random anarchy but as a controlled force used to destabilize Gotham even further, to keep the public divided, and to maintain a constant state of fear that keeps the city's elite in control. The Penguin's criminal empire, on the other hand, could be seen as controlled opposition, one that keeps Gotham's lower classes in check by offering them criminal outlets while ensuring that they remain subjugated. His legitimate businesses serve to launder money for the true power players in Gotham, allowing them to maintain a public face while profiting from the chaos they help create. In this way, the Penguin's role is not just to commit crimes, but to mask the true scope of Gotham's power dynamics by making crime itself seem like the problem. The secret society could use Penguin's criminal activities as a tool to manipulate the public's perception, allowing them to stay out of the spotlight while benefiting from the very criminal activity they sponsor. Ra's al Ghul, the leader of the League of Assassins, takes a more global approach to this conspiracy. His desire to destroy Gotham isn't about destroying it for the sake of chaos. It's about remaking the city according to his vision, a vision that aligns with the secret society's ultimate agenda. Ra's al Ghul's influence spans across borders, making him a dangerous player not just in Gotham's power struggle, but in the global political system. His intention to purge Gotham and rebuild it speaks to a larger desire to control the world's destinies, one where the elite hold the true power and where cities like Gotham are nothing more than battlegrounds in the war for global supremacy. By trying to reset Gotham, Ra's al Ghul is playing into the hands of the secret society, which aims to reshape the world by destroying its centers of power and rebuilding them in their image. At this stage in Batman's journey, the scope of the conflict grows exponentially. Gotham's battle is no longer a localized war against crime and corruption, but a battle for the soul of the city, one that reaches far beyond Gotham's borders. Batman realizes that his personal war might have been only part of a much larger puzzle. Gotham's system of crime and chaos isn't just a failure of law enforcement or a symptom of social inequality. It's the result of a deliberate system designed to keep the people in check, while the true rulers manipulate the course of the city's fate. The criminal factions in Gotham have always been fueled by the same power, a hidden network of families, corporations, and political entities that have maintained their grip over the city for generations. Batman's real enemy, as it turns out, is not the individual criminals he faces in every encounter. It's the network of control that has engineered Gotham's system of chaos. This network is a well-oiled machine that ensures Gotham never truly escapes its cycle of destruction, corruption, and subjugation. Batman's success in dismantling one criminal empire is always met with the rise of another, and the system appears rigged to keep the criminals at the forefront of the city's struggle. But the true power behind these empires is not the criminals themselves. It's the society that controls them. This realization forces Batman to reevaluate his approach. For years, he has been focused on fighting crime and bringing criminals to justice, believing that by eliminating Gotham's criminal elements, he could save the city. But now, he must confront the reality that the real enemy is not the criminal or the supervillain, but the elite rulers who have manipulated the entire system. Gotham's true power structure is not just about the crime families or the politicians. It's about the hidden forces that shape public perception and create the circumstances in which the city's destruction is inevitable. The elite families and shadowy figures in Gotham have created the chaos, and as long as Batman continues to focus on the criminals without seeing the bigger picture, he will always be a step behind. To truly save Gotham, Batman will need to unmask the real enemy, the secret society that controls the city's fate. He will have to infiltrate the elite and tear down the walls that protect the true rulers of Gotham. This will not be an easy task, as the society's influence runs deep through the police force, the media, the financial systems, and even the criminal world. But if Batman can uncover the truth, if he can shine a light on the secret society pulling the strings, he might just have the chance to break the cycle that has kept Gotham in darkness for so long. This battle will be different from anything Batman has faced before. It's not just about physical combat. It's about exposing the system and uncovering the conspiracy that has kept Gotham locked in a state of endless turmoil. Batman's greatest strength has always been his intellect, his ability to outsmart and outmaneuver his enemies. Now, more than ever, he must use that intelligence to unveil the truth behind the hidden forces shaping the city's destiny. Batman's realization that the true enemy is not simply the criminals and supervillains he faces, but the hidden society pulling the strings from the shadows, opens up a new chapter in his mission. The fight for Gotham's soul becomes more complex than ever. To truly break free from the cycle of corruption and chaos that has plagued Gotham for centuries, Batman must dismantle the system that sustains it, and to do that, he needs to confront the secret society at its core. The first step in Batman's new battle would be to track down the society's hidden members, the powerful elite who have been behind the city's misery for so long. These families, organizations, and individuals are not just criminals, they are master manipulators, pulling the strings of the city's institutions and ensuring that Gotham remains a city of chaos. Batman has always prided himself on his intellect and his ability to connect the dots. However, this time, the puzzle is far more complex. The pieces of the puzzle are scattered across Gotham, hidden in plain sight, and Batman must navigate the layers of deception to uncover the truth. One of the most significant challenges Batman faces is that the society has infiltrated every level of Gotham's power structures. The police force, for example, is likely a key player in this hidden network. While Batman has worked with Commissioner Gordon and some of the more honorable members of the GCPD, the institution itself is riddled with corruption, making it hard to trust anyone in the force. The idea that the Gotham Police Department could be actively complicit in this secret society's control presents a daunting obstacle. Even within the GCPD, officers are often shown to be compromised, whether through bribes, blackmail, or fear of the powerful figures controlling the city's politics and economy. This reality makes it incredibly difficult for Batman to use the police as a resource in his fight to uncover the truth. Batman has long relied on his partnerships with Gordon and certain members of the GCPD, but the secret society has likely embedded its influence even there. Many of Gotham's most trusted officials may secretly be agents of the society, whether they know it or not. Gordon, despite his moral integrity, might be fighting an uphill battle against a system that has already rigged the game. This realization would likely make Batman question the true nature of Gotham's law enforcement. Could even Gordon have been manipulated by these hidden forces, unable to see the full picture until it's too late? The secret society's influence likely extends beyond Gotham's criminal world and its law enforcement. Business leaders like Cobblepot and Wayne Enterprises, seemingly legitimate figures in Gotham, might also be complicit. Bruce Wayne, for all his efforts to improve Gotham through his charitable initiatives and his corporate influence, could find himself at the heart of a much larger conspiracy. Wayne Enterprises, as a corporation with vast wealth and influence, could unknowingly be used as a front for the society's operations. Could some of Wayne's philanthropic efforts and business decisions have been subtly influenced by the very people he's working against? The idea that Batman, in his quest to save Gotham, might have been operating in the dark, unknowingly helping the very forces he is trying to defeat, is a powerful notion. It would force him to reevaluate his role in Gotham's struggle for survival. In his pursuit of the truth, Batman will likely have to face powerful enemies in the form of Gotham's elite families. These families, who have been at the core of the city's power structure, have ensured that their legacy remains untouchable. Redders, Al Ghul, Carmine Falcone, and other prominent figures are just pawns in a larger game, each serving the interests of the secret society that controls everything. These families are tied together by blood, business, and politics, forming a closed network that has operated in the shadows for centuries. Each generation of Gotham's elite has taken its turn maintaining control, and their grip on power has only strengthened with time. As Batman continues to dig deeper, he will encounter the hidden forces that influence Gotham's history. The city's founding families, whose legacies are tied to the establishment of Gotham's first laws, likely played a key role in the creation of the secret society. If Gotham's elite families are part of a much larger conspiracy, then Batman's investigation into Gotham's origins could be one of the most significant pieces of his puzzle. Batman's knowledge of Gotham's history will be crucial as he seeks to uncover the truth about the city's dark legacy and the secret hands that have shaped its destiny. In addition to unmasking the society, Batman must also contend with the psychological effects of his discovery. Gotham's fate has been manipulated for centuries, and the realization that he's not fighting against isolated criminals, but a global network of corrupt elite forces. Batman to confront the fact that his entire mission has been based on false assumptions. He must reckon with the fact that Gotham's chaos might be the result of forces beyond his control, and that the system is so deeply entrenched that even his greatest efforts might not be enough to undo the damage done by centuries of manipulation. This knowledge is a heavy burden for Batman, one that would challenge not only his resolve but also his understanding of what it means to be a hero. The lore's Batman begins to expose the true power players behind Gotham's corruption. He must be prepared to make difficult decisions. Unmasking the society will likely put him at odds with the very institutions he's fought so hard to protect. The media, which has always been a tool for the elite, could attempt to discredit him, turning public opinion against him. Commissioner Gordon may be forced into a position where his loyalties to the Gotham Police Department and the larger system are tested as he grapples with the realization that even he may have been complicit in the cover-up of Gotham's true power structure. This fight for Gotham's soul will not just be about defeating criminals, but about breaking down the system that has kept the city in a perpetual state of corruption and chaos. Batman's efforts to dismantle the secret society will challenge the very foundations of the city, forcing him to make decisions that will alter the course of Gotham's history forever. His war against crime will have to evolve into a battle against an entrenched system of power, one that has made sure that Gotham remains in eternal conflict until it is remade in their image. As Batman's investigation into the secret society of Gotham progresses, the scope of his understanding of the city's deep-rooted corruption becomes ever more disturbing. His attempts to battle the visible criminals, whether they are gangsters, supervillains, or rogues, now seem trivial when compared to the true insidious power behind the city's perpetual instability. Every criminal he faces, every villain he battles, could very well be an agent or pawn in a much larger, more coordinated effort to maintain control over Gotham. The secret society that operates from the shadows is not merely a passive bystander in Gotham's crime wave. It actively shapes and manipulates the city's fate, controlling the criminal underworld as easily as they control the government, the corporations, and the law enforcement that should be working against them. Batman, with his unwavering sense of justice, is at a crossroads. His usual method of fighting crime, based on strategies of taking down crime bosses, disrupting syndicates, and capturing supervillains, no longer seems to be enough. These actions, while noble, only treat the symptoms of Gotham's sickness, never addressing the disease itself. The true enemy Batman faces is not the criminals he fights every night. It is the hidden society that has shaped Gotham's political landscape and financial system for centuries. This society operates at the highest echelons of power, manipulating politicians, corporations, and even public opinion. They own Gotham in a way that goes far beyond street-level crime. At the heart of this system are the elite families, whose names are often synonymous with respectability, but whose hidden dealings keep Gotham in a perpetual state of chaos. These families maintain their grip on the city by controlling everything from the police force to the city's economy, and they do so through strategic manipulation of criminal organizations and the public narrative. The secret society they control ensures that the city remains united under their leadership, with crime and corruption woven into every aspect of Gotham's social fabric. Batman's increasing awareness of the depths of corruption forces him to reconsider everything he has fought for. Gotham's crime is not simply a byproduct of poverty, disenfranchisement, or individual villainy. It is a calculated and deliberate system that has been designed to keep Gotham in a state of unrest, where the elite benefit from the perpetual chaos. Batman's long-standing battle against crime has been fighting the products of the society's machinations rather than the society itself. This realization shakes Batman to his core, but it also offers him a unique opportunity for the first time. He understands that the war he's been fighting is not just about defeating crime, it's about unmasking the system that enables crime to thrive. In doing so, Batman can't just rely on his usual tactics. His traditional methods of detective work, combat, and tactical brilliance will no longer suffice. To dismantle this society, Batman must become something more than a vigilante. He must become an insider who is capable of unveiling the elites who control Gotham's destiny. Batman's new strategy would involve exposing the hidden powers of Gotham. To do so, he must infiltrate Gotham's elite, gaining access to their hidden networks. Batman's understanding of the criminal underworld has always been strategic and methodical, but to uncover the truth, he needs to go deeper. He must exploit the political ties, the financial systems, and the media, all of which are controlled by the secret society, and use these resources to reveal who is truly behind Gotham's endless turmoil. The most difficult aspect of this journey will be to gain the trust of those who are part of the elite, without exposing his own identity. This would require Batman to become something he's never been, A master of influence and manipulation, he must use his intelligence, charisma, and financial resources to blend into Gotham's elite circles, all while maintaining his secret identity and working in the shadows to unmask the true powers of the city. As Batman navigates these high-stakes power dynamics, he faces an important question. How far will he go to expose the truth? Batman's moral code, particularly his no-kill rule, is a central part of his identity. But when faced with a global conspiracy that spans centuries, does his code still hold? The secret society that has controlled Gotham for so long operates with a level of cold, calculated manipulation that goes beyond anything Batman has ever encountered. Their methods are far from honorable, and they use intimidation, violence, and corruption to maintain their power. Batman's struggle to remain true to his moral code while fighting against an organization so entrenched in Gotham's fabric could be the most difficult challenge he's ever faced. Moreover, Batman's relationships with others will be tested in ways that he has never experienced before. The people he has trusted, Alfred, Commissioner Gordon, and even his fellow members of the Justice League, may no longer be able to help him in his fight against the secret society. As Batman digs deeper, he may discover that the corruption runs all the way to the top, and some of his closest allies might even be complicit in maintaining the system. The Gotham Police Department, while appearing to be on his side, might be playing its own game, and Gordon, despite his moral compass, could be tied to forces beyond his control. Batman will have to decide whether he can continue to trust those around him or whether the systemic corruption is so deeply embedded that no one is safe. Ultimately, Batman's fight will become a battle for Gotham's soul. He must figure out how to break the cycle of chaos while preserving his integrity and his moral code. If he can expose the true forces at work, Batman may have the chance to tear down the secret society and give Gotham a new chance at salvation. But doing so will require him to make difficult choices that may cost him more than he ever imagined. In dismantling the secret society, Batman will likely face the ultimate test of his own humanity. Will he remain the Dark Knight who operates by a strict moral code, or will he become something more, willing to make sacrifices to protect Gotham from the forces that have long controlled it? The answers to these questions will define the next chapter of his crusade, and Gotham's future will hang in the balance. As Batman begins to confront the hidden society controlling Gotham, he recognizes that the task before him is unlike any challenge he has faced before. The secret society, with its deep-rooted influence over every aspect of Gotham's power structure, from the political elites to the criminal underworld, represents a shadow war that has been raging in the city long before Batman ever donned the cape and cowl. To expose and dismantle this secret network will not only require more than just physical combat, but an entirely new approach to his role as Gotham's protector. Batman must now face the darker side of his crusade, a fight that goes beyond justice, reaching into the very heart of Gotham's soul. As the secret society's reach spreads across Gotham, Batman finds that the traditional methods of fighting crime no longer suffice. The criminals he faces are no longer isolated entities. They are pieces in a larger, more coordinated scheme orchestrated by those who hold the real power behind the scenes. Each crime syndicate, each supervillain, and even the rogue elements within Gotham's police force could be part of a larger network, all working in service to a hidden elite whose ultimate goal is to maintain control of the city and, by extension, the world's power structures. To truly save Gotham, Batman must first understand the true extent of the system he's battling against. The Court of Owls, for example, is one of the most insidious players in Gotham's hidden power structure. While they have historically remained in the shadows, Their manipulation of the city's elite families and influential leaders has shaped the city's very fabric. The court's tactics of using assassins, like the Talons, to eliminate anyone who threatens their control speaks to the ruthless nature of this secret society. However, the court might not be the end-all of Gotham's shadowy rulers. They are likely only one faction in a much larger global conspiracy that spans governments, corporations, and criminal syndicates. For Batman, the greatest challenge lies not in fighting the Court of Owls or any one faction of this hidden network, but in uncovering and exposing the true architects of Gotham's corruption. The elite families, like the Waynes, the Falcons, and the Cobblepots, could very well be linked to this larger society, and their public personas are merely a mask that hides the true motives behind their wealth and influence. Batman's discovery that Wayne Enterprises might not be entirely innocent in its dealings could serve as one of his most profound shocks. If the Wayne family is unknowingly or unwillingly tied to the secret society, it would force Bruce Wayne to question his legacy, his family's history, and the very foundation of the company he has spent years trying to make into a force for good in Gotham. This internal struggle would complicate Batman's mission. He must now face the uncomfortable reality that the very institutions he trusts and has spent so many years fighting for may be complicit in the corruption that runs through Gotham's veins. His perception of Gotham's future becomes increasingly complicated. Can Batman truly defeat crime in a city controlled by such an insidious, all-encompassing force? The answer is not simple, and this uncertainty eats away at Batman's resolve. The society's grip on Gotham's fabric is so deep that Batman wonders whether the city can even be saved without fundamentally changing the very system of power that underpins its existence. The next step in Batman's investigation is to uncover the true scope of the society's operations, something far beyond the individual criminals he faces. This will require him to gain access to confidential information about Gotham's elite families, the economic interests they control, and their connections to global power structures. Batman may have to turn to unconventional allies in this quest, especially those with connections to international intelligence agencies, underground movements, or private sector spies. These allies might help him infiltrate the secret society's ranks, obtaining information that could finally expose the truth behind Gotham's power players. To succeed, Batman will have to operate in the shadows even more than he already does. His typical reliance on brute force and detective skills will not suffice. He will need to embrace a darker, more covert strategy, utilizing espionage, deception, and social manipulation to uncover the society's secrets. This path will push Batman's morality to its limits, forcing him to consider whether he is willing to compromise his values in the pursuit of exposing Gotham's hidden elite. The moral dilemma Batman faces as he fights to expose the society may be one of his greatest struggles, as he finds himself slipping further into a world of intrigue, deception, and manipulation. Batman must ask himself, how far can he go before losing himself in the very methods he despises? The psychological toll this takes on Batman cannot be understated. The battle against Gotham's secret society is not just a physical war, it is a war of mental endurance. Batman has always prided himself on his resolve, on his ability to outthink and outfight his enemies. But what happens when the enemy is so deeply embedded in the structures of society that Batman's traditional tools of combat and investigation no longer apply? The mental strain of navigating these dark waters will test Batman's sanity and self-discipline as never before. His role as Gotham's protector is being redefined, and as he digs deeper into the web of global conspiracies, international elites, and hidden networks, he will realize that his moral code might not be enough to save the city, or even himself. As Batman continues to pursue the truth, he may also need to confront some disturbing truths about his own place in Gotham. Could he have been manipulated by the very forces he seeks to defeat? Could his actions, even his quest for justice, have played into the secret society's hands? Perhaps his entire existence as Batman was part of their grand design, a way to keep Gotham's citizens distracted, focused on an unending war on crime, while the true manipulators remain unchallenged. This existential crisis may very well be the darkest moment in Batman's journey, forcing him to reassess everything he has fought for and everything he has become. What becomes clear in this investigation is that Batman's fight is no longer just about individual victories or justice for Gotham's citizens. It is about the future of Gotham itself, and whether the city can ever break free from the cycle of manipulation, violence, and corruption that has held it in check for so long. Batman must face the uncomfortable reality that the battle for Gotham's soul is a war against forces so powerful, so entrenched, that even he may not have the power to destroy them entirely. But his mission, nonetheless, remains the same: to uncover the truth, to reveal the hidden forces controlling the city, and to strike a blow against the secret society that has pulled the strings for so long. As Batman digs deeper into the heart of Gotham's corruption, he finds himself up against not just criminals and supervillains, but the very institutions that are supposed to protect the city. Gotham's elite families, those who have controlled the city's fate for generations, have carefully constructed a network of power, wealth, and influence that is nearly impossible to dismantle. These families are no longer just power players in Gotham. They are the architects of the system itself. They are the ones who have cultivated the chaos, who have sustained Gotham's instability, and who have capitalized on its destruction. Batman begins to realize that the true war he is fighting isn't just about crime. It's about breaking the cycle that has held Gotham in perpetual chaos. The criminal factions he faces every night, the gangs and mobsters that terrorize Gotham's streets, are merely products of a larger system. This system was created by the elites, who keep the city in turmoil to maintain control and power. As Batman's investigation unfolds, he comes to understand that his efforts to rid the city of individual criminals are not only insufficient, but might also be futile in the grand scheme of things. The criminals he faces are agents, tools for the elite's plans, and as long as the system remains intact, Gotham will never change. At this stage, Batman realizes that he must change his approach. His previous methods, battling supervillains and dismantling crime syndicates, have not only been ineffective but have also allowed the real enemy to thrive in the shadows. To truly save Gotham, Batman must do more than just fight crime. He must tear down the system that has allowed crime to flourish for so long. This realization forces him to reconsider everything he thought he knew about justice. Is it enough to bring criminals to justice if the entire system is corrupted from the top down? Can Gotham ever truly be saved if the power structures that shape its reality are so deeply ingrained and so expertly hidden? As Batman begins to question the moral foundation of his mission, he is faced with a difficult choice. Can he take down the elite families who control Gotham without destroying the city itself? The elites have designed the system to perpetuate chaos, and Batman's role in the city has always been to protect it, to be the symbol of justice that Gotham's people could rely on. But what happens when that system has become so entrenched that breaking it down could cause even more destruction than it already has? What if Batman himself is part of the system, unknowingly a tool in the hands of the very forces he seeks to defeat? As he delves into the shadowy world of Gotham's elite, Batman begins to uncover not just the truth about Gotham's corruption, but also the secrets that have been hidden for generations. He learns that Gotham's elite families have interwoven their lives for centuries, creating a network of interests that goes far beyond the city's boundaries. These families have infiltrated the highest levels of government, police, and business, ensuring that no matter how much crime and chaos erupts on the streets, the elite are always in control. The deeper Batman gets into this investigation, the more he realizes that he is facing a powerful conspiracy that goes beyond just the criminal world. It extends into the corporate, political, and cultural realms. To truly dismantle this system, Batman will have to infiltrate and disrupt these powerful networks. He will have to challenge not only the criminals, but the institutions that support them. He may have to work from within, using his resources, his influence, and his skills to break apart the very foundation that supports Gotham's elite. However, as Batman steps further into this world, he faces an important question. How far is he willing to go to expose the truth? The elite families that control Gotham have been in power for centuries, and their influence is so ingrained in the fabric of the city that even Batman's greatest efforts might not be enough to break their grip on the city. To truly dismantle this system, Batman will have to make decisions that could shatter his moral code. He will have to operate outside the lines of what he believes is right and wrong, using methods that may be in direct conflict with his own values. The moral cost of this mission may be too high, and Batman may find himself at a crossroads, forced to decide whether the ends justify the means. In addition to these internal struggles, Batman will have to contend with the physical dangers of taking on an enemy that operates in the shadows. The secret society he is facing is not like the traditional criminals he fights on the streets. These are powerful, well-connected individuals who have the resources to destroy anyone who gets in their way. Batman's greatest weapon has always been his intellect, his ability to outsmart and outmaneuver his enemies. But the society he's up against is cunning, and they will stop at nothing to maintain their control. Every move Batman makes will be met with countermeasures, and he will have to remain vigilant if he hopes to stay one step ahead. As Batman begins to unravel the mystery of Gotham's secret society, he finds himself confronting not just the criminals he has always faced, but a force that has controlled Gotham for far longer than he ever realized. The elite families that hold the true power are the key to understanding the perpetual cycle of corruption that has plagued the city. Batman's investigation into these families, their business dealings, their political connections, and their criminal ties will lead him to an uncomfortable truth. Gotham's system of power is irreparably broken, and the forces controlling it may be far too powerful for any single man, even Batman, to take down. Batman's struggle will become a battle of wills, a mental and strategic war against an enemy that has the resources, the knowledge, and the connections to fight back at every turn. He will need to adapt and evolve in ways that he has never done before. His mission will no longer just be about fighting criminals, it will be about restructuring Gotham's entire power system, and in doing so deciding what kind of hero he is willing to become. As Batman continues to uncover the secrets of Gotham's hidden elite, the complexity of his mission grows even more overwhelming. Each step further into the secret society reveals layers of corruption and manipulation that seem impossible to untangle. The elite families at the center of this cabal have spent centuries perfecting their control over Gotham, ensuring that every aspect of life, from the criminal enterprises to the political institutions, the media, and even the justice system works in their favor. Batman, once the city's silent protector, now realizes that he is up against forces that are far more powerful and far-reaching than any of the criminals he has faced in the past. One of the most disturbing realizations that Batman comes to is the idea that Gotham's criminal underworld may not be a flawed system, but a purposefully engineered one. Crime in Gotham, in many ways, serves the interests of the elites who control the city. By keeping the criminal element alive and active, these elites ensure that chaos remains the dominant force, allowing them to continue their manipulation of the city's politics, finances, and public opinion. This realization forces Batman to question everything about his role as Gotham's protector. Has he been playing right into the hands of those he seeks to destroy? Has he been focusing on individual villains and crime syndicates, while overlooking the root causes of the problem? Batman's strategy must evolve if he hopes to defeat this much larger, insidious threat. The traditional tools of combat, investigation, and interrogation will not be enough. Infiltration, deception, and psychological warfare will now become crucial to his success. Batman must enter the world of Gotham's elite in a way he never has before. He needs to understand the structure of power, the hidden alliances, and the secret deals that keep Gotham in a perpetual state of corruption. He must begin to operate not just from the shadows, but within the shadows, where the true power is held. To gain access to this world, Batman begins to rely more heavily on his alter ego Bruce Wayne and the resources available to him through Wayne Enterprises. But even here, Batman faces complications. Wayne Enterprises, while publicly seen as a force for good, could very well be a front for the hidden society. The company's business dealings, from construction projects to investments, could be directly funding the criminal syndicates that plague the streets. In many ways, Wayne Enterprises might be caught in a web of deceit, with Bruce Wayne's family legacy tied to the very forces he seeks to dismantle. This is a particularly troubling discovery for Batman, as it forces him to confront the legacy of his own family, a legacy he has always associated with honor, integrity, and public service. Now, he must ask, can he trust his own family's legacy, or has the Wayne family been complicit in the corruption that has dominated Gotham for so long? As Batman navigates these morally murky waters, he begins to confront a greater question: is it even possible to save Gotham? The secret society that controls the city is not just made up of criminals, but institutions that legitimize the status quo. The media, for instance, plays a crucial role in keeping the public distracted, while the politicians ensure that the power brokers remain untouched. Batman has always believed that the solution to Gotham's problems lies in bringing criminals to justice. But what if the entire system is rigged? What if the true criminals are not the ones Batman confronts nightly on the streets, but the ones who have built and maintained the system that ensures Gotham's never-ending cycle of chaos? In order to dismantle the secret society, Batman must begin to break down the walls between Gotham's underworld and its elite institutions. He must unmask the connections between crime families, politicians, and corporations, exposing the hidden links that perpetuate the system. This will be a dangerous game, as each of these powerful figures has the ability to destroy Batman's reputation, his identity, and even his life. But Batman understands that the stakes are higher than ever. To uncover the truth behind Gotham's corruption, he must take risks he has never taken before. The truth is his weapon, but it's also his weakness. If he exposes the wrong person or missteps in his investigation, it could cause a chain reaction that brings the city to the brink of collapse. As he moves through the labyrinth of Gotham's power structures, Batman also finds himself at odds with those who have long been his allies. Commissioner Gordon, a staunch ally in Batman's war on crime, may find himself caught between his loyalty to the GCPD and the truth that Batman is uncovering. If the police department is in fact compromised by the secret society, then Gordon's role in Gotham's fight for justice becomes complicated. The very institutions Gordon has spent his life serving may be unwittingly supporting the system that keeps Gotham in chains. How far will Gordon be willing to go to expose the truth, and will he and Batman's partnership survive this shocking revelation? Alfred, Batman's trusted butler, is another figure who will be affected by the truth about Gotham's elite. For Bruce Wayne, his connection to Alfred is one of the few remaining links to his humanity. Alfred has been a constant figure in Bruce's life, a father figure and a moral compass. However, as Batman confronts the reality of Gotham's hidden elite, he must confront the fact that even Alfred's trust may have been compromised. Alfred's knowledge of Wayne Enterprises, Gotham's elite, and even the Wayne family's involvement in Gotham's history may force Bruce to redefine his relationship with the one man who has always stood by him. Can Alfred remain loyal to Bruce when the truth about Gotham threatens everything they've built together? As Batman embarks on this new mission to uncover the truth and dismantle the system that has controlled Gotham for so long, he faces not only physical and moral challenges, but also psychological ones. The deeper he digs, the more isolated he becomes. His trust in his allies, the foundation of his mission, is tested by the realization that even they may have been unwitting pawns in the secret society's game. Batman has always been independent, but now his efforts are pushing him toward a greater realization: he cannot do this alone. Gotham is a city built on lies and corruption, and only by collaborating with those he trusts, Gordon, Alfred, and possibly even Justice League members, can he hope to unmask the secret society and reclaim Gotham from the clutches of the elite. This moment marks a turning point in Batman's journey. No longer is he simply a vigilante on a mission to fight crime. He is now a man at war with a system that is so ingrained in the city's DNA that breaking it apart will require not just strength, but intellect, patience, and sacrifice. Batman must decide what he is willing to risk in his quest for truth, because the truth will not only affect Gotham, it will redefine everything he has ever believed about his mission, his legacy, and his role as the Dark Knight. As Batman digs deeper into the machinations of the hidden society controlling Gotham, he comes to the chilling realization that every step he takes forward is met with a more complex and entrenched system of control that has infiltrated every aspect of life in the city. Gotham, as Batman has known it, is nothing more than a puppet controlled by invisible hands. These hands belong to the powerful families, elite corporations, and shadowy figures who have silently shaped the city for generations, their influence so deeply embedded in Gotham's DNA that it's nearly impossible to pinpoint the origin of the rot. The secret society has cleverly built its power not by overt dominance, but by manipulating the system from within. Batman, in his quest to bring justice to the city, has always fought against the visible enemies, the criminals, the mob bosses, the supervillains. But in confronting the true source of Gotham's suffering, he must now face the reality that the real war is against a system that has been so effectively hidden from view, it has gone undetected for years. Gotham's crimes are not isolated acts of evil, but intentionally orchestrated events in a much larger scheme. Batman's internal conflict intensifies. How can he fight a shadow enemy that has made its home in every institution of Gotham? The police, the media, The court systems and even the hospital networks may be complicit, whether knowingly or unknowingly, in maintaining this system of control. In this labyrinth of power, Batman's methods of justice, which have always been based on physical confrontation, strategy, and direct action, seem outdated and insufficient. His reliance on traditional crime-fighting tools, such as interrogation and physical combat, has only resulted in a never-ending cycle of crime and chaos. This realization forces Batman to adopt a new approach, one based not just on his usual skills, but also on intelligence, deception, and manipulation. In order to infiltrate the secret society, Batman must operate not as the Dark Knight, but as Bruce Wayne, the billionaire playboy who is trusted by Gotham's elites. By using his corporate status and public persona as a shield, Batman can begin to infiltrate the networks of power that sustain Gotham's elite, gathering intelligence and information from those who would never suspect him. However, as he gets closer to the heart of the conspiracy, Batman begins to question his identity and his motives. How far is he willing to compromise his moral code in the pursuit of justice? The deeper he gets, the more he realizes that the system he has been fighting against is built on lies, deception, and corruption, and his role in Gotham has always been to fight the symptoms rather than the disease. To truly unmask the society and bring down the elite that controls Gotham, Batman might have to make difficult choices that challenge his very identity as the protector of Gotham. Moreover, Batman's relationships with those closest to him are put to the test. Alfred, who has always been his most trusted confidant, begins to question whether Batman's mission is still valid or whether the costs of his crusade are too high. As Batman digs deeper into the web of corruption, Alfred's moral compass challenges Batman to look inward and ask whether the end justifies the means. Is Batman willing to sacrifice his own principles in order to bring down a system that has ruined Gotham for so long? Will the truth about Wayne Enterprises and its potential ties to the secret society cause Bruce Wayne to lose his sense of self and identity? Gordon, too, becomes a key player in this investigation. For years, Commissioner Gordon has been Batman's trusted ally, but his loyalty to the police department and Gotham's institutions might conflict with his duty to Batman as the truth behind the GCPD's complicity comes to light. Will Gordon be able to reconcile his duty to Gotham and his personal relationship with Batman when he learns that the police force has been used to perpetuate a system of power that has kept Gotham under the thumb of the elite? Will their bond survive when Gordon's own role in this system is revealed, or will the truth fracture their trust? As Batman begins to unveil the secret society, he uncovers the depth of their influence over Gotham's politics. Key politicians, including the mayor, city councilors, and even judges, have been bought and manipulated by the hidden elite. These puppets of power have ensured that the status quo remains unchallenged, regardless of how corrupt the system becomes. As Batman learns about the deals made between the criminal families and the city's politicians, he begins to see the full scope of the conspiracy. The corruption runs so deep that the system itself is designed to perpetuate Gotham's suffering. With each new discovery, Batman realizes that the battle against crime in Gotham is not just a fight against criminals, but a war against the very structures that have kept the city in chains. The real enemy is not just the criminals he has always fought, but the system that has created an environment where crime can flourish. Batman's old methods, fighting one villain at a time, can no longer defeat the forces that have been pulling the strings of Gotham for so long. To bring down the secret society, Batman must be willing to break the system entirely, even if it means destroying the very institutions that have been at the core of Gotham's survival. As Batman contemplates his next move, he must ask himself whether the cost of exposing the truth is worth the sacrifice. Gotham has been built on secrets, lies, and compromise, and to uncover the true power behind its corruption could tear the city apart. Batman's ultimate goal must shift from just fighting crime to revolutionizing the very foundation of Gotham itself, tearing down the elite institutions that have kept the city's people in a constant state of fear and oppression. As Batman ventures deeper into the dark underbelly of Gotham's power structure, the nature of his mission evolves dramatically. What once began as a singular crusade against individual criminals has now become a battle for the soul of the city itself. The realization that Gotham's elite, those who have long held power over the city's institutions, businesses, and government, have been manipulating the system for generations, forces Batman to confront the truth that Gotham's corruption is not just a byproduct of crime, but a systematic force that has been deliberately engineered to keep the elite in power while the city suffers in chaos. This discovery comes at a heavy cost, as Batman must now grapple with the complexity of his own moral code. The principles that have defined him as Gotham's protector, his refusal to kill, his commitment to justice, and his deep-seated belief in individual responsibility come into direct conflict with the reality of what it will take to upend the system. The hidden society Batman is up against is not a group of rogue criminals or anarchic forces, but a global network of interwoven power, utilizing corruption, deception, and manipulation to ensure the status quo is upheld. As the truth behind Gotham's power structure is revealed, Batman finds himself at a moral crossroads. He must decide whether his quest for justice will involve the destruction of the very institutions that have kept Gotham running for so long. The police, the business moguls, and even the media have all been complicit, whether knowingly or unknowingly, in perpetuating the city's suffering. For Batman to truly liberate Gotham, he must be prepared to tear down these institutions and break the cycle of corruption that has bound the city in perpetual chaos. But doing so comes with a heavy psychological burden. Batman must wrestle with the idea that his entire legacy, his identity as Bruce Wayne and Batman, is intertwined with the very system he seeks to destroy. The Wayne family, once seen as a symbol of hope, could now be tied to the system of power that has enabled Gotham's corruption. The revelation that Wayne Enterprises might be connected to the society's hidden agenda challenges everything Bruce Wayne has worked toward. Can he remain the hero Gotham needs if his family legacy is part of the very structure that keeps the city in turmoil? Batman's struggle also extends to his relationships with those closest to him. Alfred, ever the moral compass for Batman, faces the possibility that even his own involvement with the Wayne family has been tainted by the same corruption that has infected the city. Commissioner Gordon, too, finds his role in the fight for justice questioned, as he learns that the police he has sworn to lead might be secretly complicit in maintaining the elite's control. These personal challenges force Batman to confront whether his methods of fighting crime, his moral code, and even his loyalty to those around him are sustainable when faced with the enormity of the battle against a system this deeply entrenched. Ultimately, Batman's journey becomes a reflection on power and corruption. Can Gotham ever truly be saved without tearing down the very institutions that have kept it running? And if Batman destroys the system, what kind of city will rise from its ashes? The fight against Gotham's elite rulers is not a fight for personal vengeance, but for the soul of the city, to unmask the truth and to rebuild Gotham from the ground up. In the end, the greatest challenge Batman faces is not defeating the villains in Gotham, but confronting the systemic forces that allow these villains to thrive in the first place. The city's true enemy lies not in chaos or crime, but in the hidden networks of power that have perpetuated Gotham's suffering for generations. Whether or not Gotham can be saved, and at what cost, remains a question only Batman can answer, not with his fists, but with his resolve, his intellect, and his ability to confront the truth of the city's past. Through this dark journey, Batman's legacy as Gotham's protector will be redefined, and the true path to redemption for both Gotham and himself will be a path that challenges everything he has ever stood for. The outcome of this war, however, will ultimately shape the future of Gotham, and whether it can rise from the ashes of its own destruction and find a new hope, one free from the shadows of the elite power that have controlled it for so long.